This is a message to the fans. Sadly, I would like to confirm that I have left the Spice Girls. This is because of differences between us. I'm sure the group will continue to be successful, and I wish them all the best. I have no immediate plans. I wish to apologise to all the fans and to thank them and everyone who's been there. Lots of love, Geri. P.S. I'll be back.
There was a message too from the 4 remaining Spices.
We are upset and saddened by Geri's departure, but we are very supportive in whatever she wants to do. The Spice Girls are here to stay. See you at the stadiums. We're sorry to all our fans for having to go through all of this. All our love, Victoria, Emma, Mel C, Mel B. Friendship never ends.
When Geri Halliwell bid farewell to the Spice Girls, fans were left reeling and the group's future seemed uncertain. However, what unfolded next was a dramatic reinvention that few could have anticipated. The Spice Girls' 3rd album, Forever, emerged from the ashes of Geri's departure, surrounded by whispers of behind-the-scenes turmoil and tantalising rumours. This album marked a bold new chapter for the remaining quartet, blending their signature pop sound with unexpected twists and turns. Join us as we delve into the secrets, scandals and sensational stories that defined this pivotal moment in pop history. If you enjoy hearing stories about eras gone by, hit the subscribe button to be notified when I next upload. Now, back to the video. The Spice Girls' debut album, Spice, released in 1996, catapulted them to global stardom. Featuring iconic hits like Wannabe, Say You'll Be There, and Two Become One, it became a cultural phenomenon, selling over 23 million copies worldwide. The album topped charts in multiple countries, and the group's infectious energy and girl power mantra resonated with fans across the globe. Their sophomore album, Spice World, released the following year, continued their meteoric rise. With singles such as Spice Up Your Life, Too Much, and Stop, the album sold over 14 million copies and solidified their status as pop royalty. The accompanying Spice World movie further cemented their influence, becoming a box office hit. Both albums collectively helped to shape 90s pop culture and established the Spice Girls as one of the best-selling girl groups of all time. During the Spice World Tour in early 1998, the Spice Girls embarked on an initial project to write and record songs for a potential 3rd album as well as a live album. The original concept for this project was to feature solo songs, duets and covers, highlighting each member's individuality while reinforcing their unity as a group. They headed to Dublin's Windmill Lane studios with longtime collaborators Richard Stannard and Matt Rowe to work on new material and create master recordings for the live album. However, the sudden departure of Geri Halliwell dramatically altered the project's direction, leading to many produced songs being scrapped and the cancellation of the live album.
One of the members of the Spice Girls calls it quits. Chuck is dying over this. Just before their big American tour, too, we'll have the scoop on their big breakup.
Oh, Ginger White. One of the world's top pop groups is minus 1 member today. Remember last week we told you that Ginger was sick? Well, she wasn't sick. She left the Spice Girls. Ginger says she wants to start her own solo career. Goodbye, group.
I wish to apologise to all the fans and to thank them and everyone who's been there. P.S. I'll be back.
The 4 remaining Spice Girls say that they're upset and they're saddened that Ginger Spice is leaving the group, but they say the Spice Girls will go on. In fact, the Spice Girls say they're going to go ahead with their planned U.S. tour later this month.
Always bicker, and we're girls, you know what I mean? Everyone has little arguments and ructions and stuff, but since we got on tour, it had been cool. We'd been having such a laugh. We hadn't been rowing. We'd just been having a really good time. In fact, the day before she actually left, I remember our conversation. We were all sitting on the plane. We were flying back to England, and we were having such a giggle. And, we were really being silly and having a laugh. And then, next thing I know, she's gone.
Much of an explanation to any of us. So I think we'd all be liars to say it was because of this or because of that, because nobody knows apart from her. And I wouldn't want to insult her by saying it was because of the performing or the singing or the dancing. At the end of the day, yes, she wasn't one of the most best singers or the best dancers, but I'm sure that wasn't the whole reason why she left. You know, there's more to Geri than that, I'm sure.
The bottom line is, I told the Spice Girls I was going to leave in September at the end of the world tour. That's when I wanted to go. And I told them that at the beginning of the tour, so it was no surprise that I was going. However, I did leave prematurely because I wasn't allowed to do a breast cancer interview, and it was for ITN. And I just got really angry, very emotional about it, because it was something very close to my heart. And, you know, it made me question my priorities. So it's kind of, there's lots of reasons why I left the Spice Girls. That is the reason. The breast cancer thing is why I left on that day. But, you know, it's just one of those, you know, things that I just felt that I was meant to be the advocate of girl power, and I felt like a hypocrite if I couldn't do something about, you know, that was, you know, for empowering women. So I had to go. I had no choice, really.
Following Geri's exit, the Spice Girls recorded the single Goodbye. Originally written during the Spice World recording sessions when Geri was still part of the group, the song was produced and co-written with Biff Stannard and Matt Rowe. The group decided to rework it and released it as a Christmas single in 1998 to positive reviews. Biff later confirmed that the song was about moving on and saying farewell to the old Spice Girls, not specifically to Geri.
So tell me, first of all, about your new single, Goodbye. Where and when did you record it and write it?
Recorded it in Nashville.
Nashville, wasn't it? And it was actually a studio that Elvis Presley had recorded in. So it was quite ambient, wasn't it?
Harmony.
Oh, they did it there too. Yeah, so it was a pretty special place, actually. But we started writing it ages ago, didn't we, when we were doing the second album, Spice World. It was when we first got the idea for Goodbye.
And then we finished it off in Nashville and recorded it.
Did you always, when you first wrote it, think of it as being a Christmas single, a sort of interim single?
Yeah, it's got that Christmassy kind of sound, hasn't it?
Yeah, we always like to do a great big, you know, lush ballad for Christmas.
I think with Goodbye, it's a song that everyone can relate to. It's like, you know, we were talking about, and you always have to say goodbye to a friend, even if it's they're going off to uni or they're going travelling. Do you know what I mean? Everyone can relate to saying goodbye to a loved one or a friend.
And you've had a lot of goodbyes you've had to say over the last few months. I mean, always travelling. Is it something that seems very close to your heart?
It is. I think, you know, it's an emotion that everyone feels. You know, there can be a lot of sadness, you know, when saying goodbye to people. But, you know, then again, it can...
Or relief.
Yeah, or relief. God. But it's like, you know, we like to see it as a goodbye to the past and hello to the future.
Were you doing the song when you're on tour?
No.
So it's really...
It was only completed when we were on tour.
In Nashville, yeah.
Actually.
Goodbye became the Spice Girls' 8th #1 single in the UK, selling 380,000 copies in its first week. This achievement made them the first British act since the Beatles in 1965 to have 3 consecutive Christmas #1 singles. Goodbye also became their 5th biggest single in the UK. The single stayed on the UK singles chart for 21 weeks and would go on to be certified platinum. The song also charted well in other territories, including parts of Europe, Australia, Canada and the US. As a solo artist, Geri Halliwell signed a 3-album deal with EMI in late 1998. She began developing her debut album, enlisting the Absolute production team, Paul Watson and Andy Watkins, who had previously produced songs for the Spice Girls. Allegedly, the remaining 4 Spice Girls warned that if Absolute chose to work with Geri, they would no longer collaborate with them. Despite this, the duo ultimately decided to work with Geri on her solo project.
With Spice Girls stuff, what's quite cool, a lot of the pressure's off. When it comes to writing and you're on your own, it's nice because you can just, you know, you can just be yourself and do what you want. But then again, it's nice being with the girls because there's so many different influences. Because, I mean, the other 3 girls are quite R&B driven, you know, and it's not really something that I listen to a lot at all.
It's common for groups to take a step back when there are lineup changes, and the Spice Girls did just that after Geri departed. Before the 4 remaining girls would reunite, each of them pursued solo careers, with Mel B being the first to step out on her own. In September 1998, she released the track I Want You Back, featuring Missy Elliott. I Want You Back marked a departure from the sound Mel B, also known as Scary Spice, was known for as part of the Spice Girls. The track showcased a darker, edgier, and more urban sound compared to the upbeat pop-driven style of the group. Collaborating with Missy Elliott, who co-wrote and produced the song, brought a distinctive R&B and hip-hop influence to the track. The gritty beats, sultry vibe, and Missy's signature production style offered Melanie B an opportunity to explore a more mature and individual artistic identity, setting her apart from the bubblegum pop that characterized much of the Spice Girls' music. This shift demonstrated her versatility as an artist and allowed her to establish herself in a different genre of music. The song was released as a single from the soundtrack Why Do Fools Fall in Love and became a massive success, peaking at number 1 on the UK singles chart. Mel C collaborated with Bryan Adams on the track When You're Gone, which was released in November 1998, written by Elliot Kennedy and Bryan Adams. When You're Gone was a natural fit for Mel C's evolving sound at the time, reflecting her transition from pop star to a more rock-oriented solo artist. Known as Sporty Spice, Mel C had always brought a bit of edge to the Spice Girls, with her powerful vocals and energetic presence. The collaboration with Bryan Adams allowed her to fully explore a rock-pop sound that complemented her voice perfectly, showcasing her ability to deliver both emotional depth and raw energy. The track's blend of rock guitar riffs and catchy pop melodies aligned well with Mel's vocal style, emphasizing her strength as a performer capable of crossing over into different musical genres. This collaboration helped her to establish a more mature, versatile image as she embarked on her solo career, resonating with both existing fans and a broader audience. The song also became a hit, reaching number 3 on the charts in both the UK and Ireland. In 1999, Geri Halliwell finally launched her solo career with the release of her debut album Schizophonic. The album marked a significant moment in her journey as an artist, representing a bold step away from her identity as Ginger Spice. Geri's solo work allowed her to showcase her versatility and creativity, exploring new musical directions that blended pop, dance, and even elements of rock. Schizophonic featured hits like Look at Me, Mi Chico Latino, and Bag It Up, each reflecting different facets of Geri's personality and artistic vision. The album's title, a playful nod to her multifaceted nature, highlighted her desire to break free from the constraints of her Spice Girls persona and redefine herself as an individual artist. Geri's solo debut was met with both commercial success and critical acclaim, with several singles topping the charts, further cementing her place in the pop music landscape. Recording for what would become the Spice Girls' third studio album initially began in mid-1999, with the first sessions taking place at Abbey Road Studios. During these early sessions, the group recorded tracks like A Day in Your Life, Give You What You Want, and Pain Proof. Between the release of the Spice Girls' second album, Spice World, and their third album, Forever, the pop music landscape underwent significant changes that likely influenced the group's creative choices. Gone was the bubblegum pop sound that evolved from the 80s and into the early 90s. The late 90s saw the rise of a more polished and mature pop sound, heavily influenced by R&B and hip-hop. Artists like Destiny's Child, TLC, and Britney Spears were dominating the charts, blending pop with slick R&B production, intricate harmonies, and edgier lyrical content. As the project progressed, additional writers and producers were brought in to help the Spice Girls cultivate a more mature image and an R&B infused sound. This shift led to collaborations with producer Rodney Jerkins, also known as Darkchild, resulting in tracks such as Holla, originally titled Holla Holla, Let Love Lead the Way, and Weekend Love. The group also worked with legendary producers Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. The shift in musical trends presented both a challenge and an opportunity for the Spice Girls. While their first 2 albums were characterized by catchy, high-energy pop anthems with a playful girl power message, the evolving music scene called for something different. To stay relevant and appeal to a slightly older audience, the Spice Girls needed to adapt their sound to align with the changing tastes of pop music fans. As a result, Forever showcased a more mature and R&B-driven sound, reflecting the influence of contemporary music trends. The decision to collaborate with different producers was a clear move to modernize their sound. Tracks like Holla and Let Love Lead the Way featured smooth, rhythmic beats and sophisticated production, signalling a departure from the bubblegum pop that had defined their earlier work. This evolution in sound also mirrored the group's own growth. With Geri's departure, the remaining members sought to redefine their image and sound, aiming for a more refined and cohesive identity that resonated with the new direction of pop music. During the recording of the Spice Girls' third album, Mel C often recorded her vocals separately from the rest of the group. This decision was influenced by several factors, including the dynamics within the group, Mel dealing with health issues as well as her emerging solo career. Mel's choice to record separately was also indicative of the changing relationships within the group following Geri's departure. With tensions and differing artistic visions emerging, recording separately allowed the singer to maintain her unique vocal style while contributing to the group's new direction. This method also reflected the more segmented way in which Forever was produced, ironically, with the girls working with various producers and writers individually rather than as a cohesive unit. In September 1999, Mel C released Going Down as the lead single from her debut solo album. Co-written by the singer, Julian Gallagher and Biff Stannard, the track reached number 4 on the UK singles chart. Her album Northern Star followed, releasing to positive reviews in October 1999, debuting at number 10 on the UK albums chart. With the release of additional singles, the album eventually peaked at number 4 in the UK. In October 1999, work on the Spice Girls' third album, Forever, was put on hold as Mel C launched a solo tour to promote her debut album, Northern Star. Meanwhile, Emma Bunton, Victoria Beckham and Mel B also began focusing on their individual solo projects. The group started preparations for their Christmas in Spice World tour, during which they premiered a couple of new tracks they had recorded for their third album.
10 years ago, classic track, Tintin Out, you know, the Fantastic Boys have got their own album out at the moment, and they just asked me to come and sing on one of their tracks, and I was like, yes, please.
So lots of the Spices are kind of duetting with other people, doing solo stuff on their own, but it still means the Spices are still together.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just, you know, Spice Girls are our priority, and there's just little things that we'll obviously all like to try and just
solo
working
projects,
on. Yeah,
as they
just
say.
stuff like that, and growing in our own way. But then, definitely they're our priority.
In November 1999. Emma Bunton found herself in a chart battle with her former Spice Girls bandmate Geri Halliwell, as both released singles on the same day. Emma's single was a collaboration with Tintin Out What I Am, and Geri releasing Lift Me Up. The media buzzed with excitement, highlighting the competition between the two women. In the ensuing chart clash, Emma's single reached number 2 in the UK, while Geri's track claimed the number 1 spot. In March 2000, the Spice Girls received the award for Outstanding Contribution Towards Music, where they accepted the award in person and also acknowledged Geri during the acceptance speech. Allegedly, Geri, who was also present at the awards, was offered to be on stage with the Spice Girls to accept the award, but refused.
And on music, doesn't matter what anyone else says, it's about the music. Right, apart from thanking you. And my family. Yeah. We've all got to say a big, big thank you to Geri, because without her, we wouldn't be able to have done this.
Work on the new Spice Girls album resumed in April 2000, with sessions taking place in Miami alongside producer Rodney Jerkins. At this time, Melanie C was still focused on her solo career and did not contribute to the writing process. Consequently, the new material was developed without her input, and her vocals were often recorded separately. In the same month, the group decided to shelve the material recorded the previous year, as it did not align with the R&B direction they were pursuing with Rodney Jerkins and the production team of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. There was only one song to make it onto the album from the original recording sessions the year prior, but only after it was extensively remixed by Darkchild, which Elliot Kennedy, the original producer, found quite insulting. Biff Stannard expressed disappointment over the exclusion of other tracks, but Emma Bunton explained that the pop sound had evolved since their initial recording sessions. In July 2000, the group recorded the album track Wasting My Time with Fred Jerkins, although Mel B did not provide vocals for this track. In August 2000, Victoria Beckham teamed up with True Steppers and Dane Bowers for the single Out of Your Mind. The single marked the most drastic shift for a Spice Girl in genre. Moving away from the pop sound that characterised her work with the Spice Girls, the track embraced a vibrant and energetic subgenre of electronic dance music that was gaining popularity at the time. Collaborating with UK duo True Steppers and vocalist Dane Bowers, Victoria ventured into a sound defined by its fast rhythmic beats, syncopated bass lines, and a distinctively urban edge. This genre shift allowed her to tap into the evolving music trends of the late 90s and early 2000s, reflecting a more club-oriented style compared to the pop-centric tracks of her past. The genre move showcased Victoria's willingness to experiment and adapt to contemporary musical trends, presenting her as a versatile artist. This change in direction was part of a broader trend among artists of the time who were exploring new genres and sounds to stay relevant in a rapidly evolving music industry. That same week, Victoria faced her own chart battle with Spiller and Sophie Ellis-Bextor, who also released their track Groovejet on the same day. The media frenzy reached fever pitch, and despite predictions that Out of Your Mind would top the charts, Groovejet ultimately outsold it by 20,000 copies, claiming the #1 spot on the UK singles chart. In September 2000, Melanie B released Tell Me, the lead single from her upcoming album. The track, which was also produced by Darkchild, was likely crafted during the sessions for the Spice Girls' Forever album. Tell Me peaked at #4 on the UK singles chart. Mel B's debut solo album, Hot, was released on October 9th, 2000, just weeks before the release of the new Spice Girls album. Despite the success of Tell Me and her earlier hit I Want You Back, the album received mixed reviews and struggled commercially, debuting at #28 on the UK albums chart. Hot sold only 7,500 copies in its first week and quickly fell off the chart. The poor reception was partly attributed to the anticipation surrounding the Spice Girls' upcoming album, with some suggesting that fans were more focused on the group's comeback than on Mel B's solo effort.
We all had a different view as to what song we were going to release first. Yeah. And then we all decided Holla. And then I know I got a bit cold feet about it. I'll never forget making a phone call to Emma saying, Emma, come on, what do you think? It's down to you. Do we go with this song or this song? And she went, oh no! And then she went, no, it has to be Holla. And we're all like, yes, right, well, let's just go for it. And if anything goes wrong, we just blame it on Emma.
On me. Because the thing is, when we all make a decision, that's usually the right one. And so I think it's best that we stick to it.
That's what we do.
And then it's our fault, nobody else's. Yours too.
No, you were the one that was saying, no, come on now, doesn't matter what anybody says, let's just stick with this one.
Yeah.
This is the one we said from the beginning, let's not kind of, get all flaky about it and worried. Because it is important, we have been away for quite a while in the public eye, so the first song that we're going to release is going to get scrutinised, loved, hated, whatever, so we have to be 100%.
The message is that there is so much, there is horrible things going on outside the world, and you have to watch it every day and stuff like that, but for us, we just kind of you have to let love, take you wherever you want to go, and believe in yourself and trust yourself and kind of go with it and try and wash them other horrible things away.
And I'll tell you what I also like about that song is it does openly say, well, what if that happens, or what if that happens, where will I be? Then the chorus is the kind of just let love lead the way vibe.
When we were writing that, there was nobody in mind. I think we started originally writing that about a homeless person, didn't we?
Yeah.
Originally.
Yeah. So I think it's it could be anyone. It's something that we all do. Sometimes we're feeling lonely and we can look out and see all the... it's something that we have all felt. It's like, you switch on the TV and you see all the death and destruction on the news and you just think, why? Why is the world like this? And when you're very young and because your innocence and naivety, and then when you start finding out all the horrible things about the world, it just really lets you down, doesn't it? So that's what it's about, really. Just hoping that love will lead you to better places and better things. One of my fondest memories of Let Love Lead the Way was we finished everything, but I was water. We all take on different elements. I was water in that one. So it was about 10 p.m. on the second day shooting, and I had to get soaking wet. and it wasn't a pleasant thing. It was cold water, and they had to change the canvases as well. So, and I mean, I was fully clothed. I had like a vest, trousers, boots, big boots up to here on, and I was drenched. And I had to wait 10 minutes sitting there at 10 o'clock at night waiting for them to move the cameras.
We're really busy with the Spice stuff, and we're still really busy with individual stuff. Like, you know, I'm finished on my album. Mel B's album's out at the moment. You know, so it's all quite hectic.
But it's quite good as well because, like, say when I go off and do promotion, I'm going to Japan, I can go off and do my promotion, but it's like I can't help but talk about the Spice Girls as well because that's, you know, that's my baby, that is.
But because a lot of people were like, when we said about we were working with Rodney Jerkins, Jamalist, everyone was like, oh, so it's really R&B then. And the thing is, it is obviously moved on naturally, but it has to be sparkly and still, you know, that everything's got that edge.
I think probably less on this album than the other two, because I think with Rodney, he's such a fantastic producer, and it's, you know, the songs are our babies, but the production's his thing, you know what I mean? So, but if there's anything we didn't like, he'd come back and play it. Hey girls, what do you think of this? If there's something we didn't like, it'd be changed. But really, you'd have to go off and let him work and do his magic, isn't it really? Whereas in the past, we've worked more closely because they've been, you know, people who we've known for longer, and it's all been in England, so.
Well, we started off in Sheffield, and then we did some tracks in London, and then we went over to Miami.
Yeah, we were in Miami for a little while.
Goodbye, of course, was done in Nashville.
Yeah. But I think most of the album was done in London.
Most of the album we've actually done with American producers, with Rodney Jerkins and also Jam and Lewis. Actually, right back at Goodbye are the only two tracks that we did with our original writing team, if you like. This is more American sounding for us, but then I think that's the way that pop music's going.
But, you know, also I think it's really difficult to say now about, you know, music being from a certain country, because we can be in a studio, it doesn't matter where in the world, you've got the same equipment, you know, you can have an American producer, English musicians, and, you know, there's just, I mean, when I was doing my album, there was like people from all over the world, and some of it was written in England, some of it was written in Ireland, some of it was recorded in America, and music's universal now, so it really doesn't matter. It's a combination of talents, international talents.
We wrote a lot of songs that aren't on the album, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think it was just about personal experiences that we've all been through, ways that we're all feeling. Obviously, we've done a lot of travelling, you know.
We've never said, we need another wannabe. You know, there's a lot of pop acts where record company and management are very influential in the artistic side, which I think is a shame because the band's the band, unless they're puppets, which some unfortunately are. But, you know, we've always been very in control of our music, and so we've never gone out to make the perfect records. We've gone out to do what we want to do, what we feel comfortable with, whatever the climate of how we're feeling at the time. So, you know, it just turns out the way it turns out.
Everybody takes on songs to adapt to their own situation, and even amongst the four of us we do when we're writing. I mean, somebody might listen to it and think, oh, it's about this, or oh, it's about that. Somebody else might listen to it and think, oh yeah, it's about how I was feeling last week.
We basically sit down, decide what kind of mood we're all in that day, which is usually the same.
Good.
And we just come up with melodies, lyrics. Sometimes we'll sit there and get a whole song done in 10 minutes, and another time it will take a whole day.
Stuck.
You know, it just depends on the vibe we're in.
What was the saying we had? Let it incubate.
Yeah,
let it wait. Just let it incubate.
Because you'd write a whole song and you'd be stuck on one line, and you'd be like, right, I can't.
Driving you mad.
Yeah, it drives you mad. So you kind of put it away and let it rest, and then go back to it.
And it was funny as well when we first walked, or maybe it was the second time when we worked in Miami. We walked in the studio. And Rodney had obviously been tired because he works with, you know, he does work with a lot of people, and it's not just us who he's worked with. And he had all these different tracks, like backbeats. We were like, nope, don't like that, don't like that. We made him do a whole new track for us there and then. He spent all night. We were like, when we come back to the studio, we want a track that sounds like this, and this. Because obviously, you know, I mean, whatever goes on our album, we have to be proud of, and we're very much involved in everything. And I think he thought, oh, maybe they'll just have this track. And we were like, no.
So we sat down and went, bass, and we want that louder, we want that louder, put that down.
Really annoyed him.
And he's a big time producer.
He's so sweet though, you know. He's
lovely.
So sweet, that guy. It's funny because when we was actually writing, I mean, there's quite a few songs on there that are very much like, listen, Giza, if you don't get this right, then you've had it. And because obviously we're working in a predominantly male environment, they're like that. You can't say, it's like, well, listen to the first and second album, love, and then you'll get the idea. We have to put this down.
They weren't having it at
all. This is how it goes. Oh, you can't tell a man to do that. Oh, yes, we can.
But then we decided to do a real love one, didn't we?
Yeah, which is the first time we've done that.
First time ever.
And tell you what we did, which was really good. We all went off into our own corner and wrote down what our version of love is. And then we came together, we all had our own melodies, and that's how that song was written.
Actually, looking back, we were kind of at different stages, and now we've all moved on again, and it's like...
I wasn't in love then, I'm sure.
Let me tell ya.
Yeah.
About the night
That's the one.
Gonna show ya.
That's the one.
I love that one.
That's the one. All of them,
I
darling.
think all of them. I think, do you know what? Because the album is so dancey and stompy.
It is.
The crowd, I think, would really enjoy it and have a good boogie.
My mum's got a favourite one. What's that one, Mum, that you like, that you just have to dance to? She went, it's the one where you see a guy from across the room, you're at an after
If you
party.
wanna have some fun, track me down and get my love.
But my mum turns it up and goes like that.
It was something we all came up with, wasn't it? We all sat down, and it's like, because it's just putting the boot on the other foot, really. Because it's always the girl who's doing the ringing, when do we see you again? And all that, and we thought, no, this time, you know, we want to be the ones in control. The guy is gagging for it. She's not interested. Weekend love, that's all you was.
Yeah.
Move on.
That's it.
Pack your bags, next one in. Guys think they're the bee's knees anyway, so I think, you know, us girls have got to big ourselves up. So that's what it's all about, girls. Guys are too confident.
I think we all worked so hard on the vocals this time, and also working with American producers.
They challenge you.
They push you to the limit, do you know what I mean? Which is great because we're learning as well.
So many times he'd go, right, I've got a really diva-y lick for you to do, which is all that quabbling stuff. Before he'd even sung it to us, a few of us were like, no,
we're not doing
can't do that. But then by the end of it, it's like, yeah, I want to sing like this, and you kind of just go for it. And the album is really strong, and it is the first time the four of us have done an album together. I mean, the last two albums have been with five of us, so we've had a chance to really concentrate and all four of us sing, you know, properly.
Yeah.
I just think now, it's like we really do egg each other on more now. Because I used to be able to cop out and go, I can't do high. I just can't sing high. Whereas
and
now
I'd have to do it, but now I'm like,
come
no,
on.
Melanie, go and do it.
And you've been singing low.
Yeah.
We kind of mixed and matched and swapped about a bit. It's been good.
Usually when we're writing, it's quite obvious. We kind of even write for each other, don't we? We sort of know, you know, whose voice is going to suit the best, because we are all quite different in, you know, in the way that we sound. We've got quite diverse voices, so it usually just falls into place. I hope people can even just listen on the radio and they know who's who. I don't know whether that's a bit naive to think that they do.
I think that they can, because I think we all sound very, very different. You know, we all really complement each other.
I love Time.
Time is beautiful.
It's very, very slow, and it can be a bit like, oh, but if you actually listen to it when you're start off in a good mood, not a depressed mood, it's just so lovely.
Time goes by, but we stand still. Love you for eternity, I will.
No, it does. I know it does. Oh, like
beautiful. That. We said, let's do a ballad where we're in love. We don't, you know,
we're not
gonna tell him what to do. We're not gonna say, I'm in love with you, but don't push it. So we just did a pure ballad, and at the time, I think we all were thinking about men in our lives.
In October 2000, the debut single from the third album, Holla, was released. The track, which was characterized by its distinctive blend of R&B and dance pop influences, showcasing a more refined reintroduction of the Spice Girls. The song, which has a focus on themes of love and desire with a sensual and assertive tone. The song is about the excitement and intensity of a romantic relationship where the singers express their longing and confidence. The chorus features catchy lines that emphasize the song's upbeat, flirtatious mood, making it both memorable and danceable. The track also showcased each member to have their own verse and ad-libs. This allowed them to highlight their own distinctive singing style but still sound cohesive as a group. The use of layered vocals and a strong, infectious beat helped to establish Holla as a standout track, blending the Spice Girls' signature energy with a fresh, updated sound. Directed by Jake Naver, the video's look and feel embodies the Y2K style which was popular at the time. The video depicted the girls playing one of the four elements each: earth, air, fire and water, with them also appearing together inside a glass pyramid. The girls are seen wearing fashionable and edgy outfits, with each member showcasing their individual style. The wardrobe choices are designed to reflect the high-energy, glamorous nature of the song, with a mix of bold colours, futuristic designs, and chic accessories. The video incorporates modern visual effects, including stylish lighting and graphic elements, to create a visually engaging experience. The use of effects such as strobe lights and digital overlays adds a futuristic and high-energy feel to the overall presentation. The video uses contrasting light and shadow to create a dramatic atmosphere, enhancing the song's sultry and confident tone. The interplay of light helps to highlight the group's performance and adds depth to the visual narrative. The song topped the UK singles chart, becoming the Spice Girls' 9th #1 single in the UK. This achievement set a record for the girl group, making them the female act with the most #1 singles in the region. Beyond the UK, Holla performed well in several other countries. It reached the top 10 in Canada, Denmark, Finland, Ireland and Spain, reflecting its broad appeal and strong international presence. In the US, the track did not make it onto the Billboard Hot 100 but managed to reach #12 on the Bubbling Under chart. Although it didn't achieve significant chart success in the US, the song still garnered attention and contributed to the Spice Girls' international profile. The song received mixed reviews from music critics. While some praised the track for its slick production and the Spice Girls' strong vocal performance, others felt it was too similar to the work of contemporary R&B artists like Destiny's Child and TLC. Critics generally acknowledged the high quality of the production, particularly praising the work of producer Darkchild. His modern R&B-infused sound was noted for adding a fresh dimension to the Spice Girls' discography. Some reviewers also criticised Holla for deviating too much from the group's earlier, more upbeat pop sound. This shift was seen as a departure from the style that had initially defined the Spice Girls and resonated strongly with their original fanbase. Let Love Lead the Way was released alongside Holla as a double A-side single, has a concept that revolves around the transformative power of love and the idea of letting love guide one's choices and actions. The lyrics offer a message of emotional resilience and hope, urging listeners to embrace love as a means to navigate life's challenges and uncertainties. This reflective and optimistic tone contrasts with the group's earlier, more carefree and energetic songs, showcasing a mature and introspective side of the group. The video features a somber and elegant aesthetic with dark, atmospheric lighting that mirrors the song's reflective mood. The setting is minimalistic, focusing on close-up shots of the Spice Girls as they perform the song, emphasizing their emotional expressions and vocal delivery. Elements such as dim lighting and subdued colors create a poignant atmosphere, aligning with the lyrical content about love and personal growth. The video's simplicity allows the emotional resonance of the song to take center stage, with the group's performances conveying the depth of the song's message. The single peaked at number 11 on the UK singles chart. While this was a respectable position, it marked a decline compared to the Spice Girls' earlier #1 hits, reflecting a more subdued commercial impact. Internationally, the song did not achieve significant chart success. It struggled to make a notable impact in many markets outside the UK, illustrating the challenges the group faced in maintaining their previous level of global dominance. Critics praised for its sophisticated production and the emotional quality of its lyrics. Critics admired the group's vocal performance, noting that the song displayed a more mature and reflective side of the group. The production, characterized by its smooth orchestration and emotive arrangement, was well received for its quality and depth. Some reviewers felt that the shift in style from the group's earlier high-energy pop hits was too drastic. While the song was seen as a positive attempt at exploring new musical territory, it did not resonate as strongly with fans who preferred the group's signature upbeat sound. Additionally, the song's lack of a memorable hook compared to their previous hits led some critics to view it as less impactful. In summary, Let Love Lead the Way demonstrated the group's ability to evolve artistically and explore more profound themes. Despite receiving praise for its emotional and production qualities, the song faced challenges in achieving the commercial success and widespread acclaim of their earlier hits. This release highlighted the group's attempt to mature and diversify their sound, though it did not fully capture the same level of popular and critical enthusiasm as their previous work. In October 2000, Mel B mentioned that a world tour to promote Forever would take place in late 2001. However, the tour never came to fruition due to their solo projects. The Spice Girls did not heavily promote Forever as much as their previous albums, and the promotional campaign was ceased in December 2000, as the group went on an indefinite hiatus. The following month, Emma Bunton officially stated that the record seems to have come to a natural end, and the group continued with their solo endeavours. It's interesting to consider had Geri Halliwell remained with the group for their third album, the project could have taken a very different direction, both musically and thematically. With Geri in the mix, the Spice Girls might have continued to emphasise the high-energy pop-centric sound that defined their first two albums. We know the original concept for the third album reportedly involved more personal and individual expressions, including solo tracks and duets. Geri's involvement might have ensured that the group continued working closely with longtime collaborators Richard Stannard and Matt Rowe, who were responsible for many of their earlier hits. Given the success of Viva Forever, the group might have explored deeper, more introspective themes. Geri's presence could have encouraged songs that reflect on fame, personal struggles, and the pressures of being in the spotlight, offering a more mature perspective while retaining their pop appeal. With Geri still on board, the album likely would have maintained the strong girl power messaging that was central to the Spice Girls brand. Even with Geri's influence, the group was likely to experiment with new producers and sounds. It's important to remember that at the dawn of the new millennium, the sound of pop music changed quite considerably. However, with the 5 members in the group, the album might have leaned more towards pop anthems with a twist, rather than the R&B heavy direction that Forever eventually took. Collaborations with prominent pop producers of the late 90s and early 2000s could have balanced fresh sounds with their established identity. In conclusion, Forever was an important milestone in the Spice Girls' career, and one that is often overlooked by superfans of the group, particularly for their first 2 projects. The album marked both that bold departure from their previous pop sound and a crucial turning point that facilitated the launch of their solo careers. Despite the album's mixed reception, it played a key role in shaping the group's legacy and enabling its members to pursue individual success in the music industry.